Hi everyone, this is Neil from Zen Software and welcome to Your Questions Answered. In this video I'm going to be answering one of the more common questions related to Hyper-V Backup and BackupAssist. And the question is, I'd like to back up my Hyper-V server which has 3 virtual machines on it. One of those runs Exchange. How can I take a backup that will allow me to restore down to specific mailbox data? Okay, so before we begin, let's have a look at a typical basic Hyper-V server platform. Just a single server scenario running 3 virtual machines. Now from a drive perspective, there would be a local C system drive and typically at least one other drive where our virtual machine data would exist. So we'll call that D drive. Now with BackupAssist, the best way of taking a backup of this sort of data is using a system protection job. And there are 2 modes of running a system protection. Either bare metal, which can be used to take a complete backup of all of the drives on the Hyper-V job. Or you can create a data-only based backup where you're only actually interested in backing up specific data on specific drives. Now within data only you can also select specific applications, VSS aware applications, and Hyper-V is itself a VSS application. And so within the selection we can choose one or more VMs to back up. The important bit is when we're doing a system protection job, we're only backing up the drive sectors or drive clusters that are relevant to the data that we select. So if we choose Hyper-V and we're selecting 3 virtual machines, we can actually choose to back up just the bits of data on that D drive that are used for those VMs, which typically VMs would have very large VHD files and some other configuration files, but we're only interested in that data. If there's other data on that D drive, it's not going to be included in this backup. And what we're actually creating on our backup destination is a virtual drive, a VHD file that represents that D drive. So we'll name that d.vhd. And it's not the whole D drive, remember it's just the information that's relevant to those virtual machines. Now with that backup we can do several things, and this is where the Hyper-V Granular Restore console comes into play. That console allows us to drill down into the backup and restore either the virtual machine in its entirety, so we could go back in time to a previous version of a virtual machine, or we can restore what's within that virtual machine at the file system. So let's assume that our 3rd virtual machine is our Exchange server. If we wanted to restore some data within that, there is effectively more than one VHD file associated to that virtual machine, one for the C drive and one for its own D drive. We can drill down, let's say, into the D drive and we can see its file system, and within there maybe that's where our Exchange EDB file exists. The Exchange EDB file is the database that contains the mailbox data, and there may well be another Exchange EDB file for, say, public folder data. That's a typical setup. Now we could restore just that file and put Exchange back in time to a few days ago, but that's not necessarily ideal if all we want to do is restore some missing data. This is another feature of BackupAssist using the Exchange Granular Restore console, and that console allows us to drill down into the backup, look down to the virtual machine and list any EDB files it contains, and then choose one of those EDB files to mount and open up within the EGR inside the Exchange Granular Restore console. And by looking at the previous version of that EDB file, you can then see all of the user's mailboxes, which would include a folder structure, a calendar, the contacts, the tasks, all of their email, and you can drill down specifically to individual items, individual messages, or select multiple messages, and then you've got a choice where you want to restore that to. You can either push it directly to an Exchange server. It doesn't have to be the Exchange server that was backed up. You can go to any other Exchange server where you can create a connection to, or you can restore out to, say, a PST file and mount that within Outlook directly. So to summarise, from a licensing point of view, you will need a BackupAssist core license, a Hyper-V granular restore console, and the Exchange granular restore console, but only on the Hyper-V host. You will not need to install anything on the VMs at all. Thanks for listening. Please feel free to check out our YouTube channel for more explainer videos.